Did Disney just unofficially confirm that the iconic villain Hades could be coming to Villains Land? Hello everybody, welcome. Details about the brand new Disney Villains Land coming to Magic Kingdom have been sparse at best, but a new video from Disney could offer us all some much anticipated insights. Though we are a few years away from Disney Villains Land opening at Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, we still have a reasonable idea of the large things that are going to be coming to this brand new land. It has been 6 years, believe it or not, since we have had an announcement of this magnitude that is this exciting. And since we don't expect Disney Villains Land to open until 2030 or 2031, almost 10 to 11 years have passed at Walt Disney World since the last major expansion, which was Star Wars Galaxy's Edge back in 2019. Prior to that, it was Pandora, which opened in 2017. So it has been a while since we've had a big land opening. Now, of course, Disney has a lot of big things that are opening between now and 2031, but it is going to be a while till we see this Villains Land. Now, most of our clues about Disney Villains Land come from a single piece of concept art that we received during the announcement at the D23 Expo. However, we also got a Disney Villains announcement video which contained a lot of different individuals, a lot of different villains that are part of the Disney universe. And this gave us our first real sneak peek into the potential villains that we could find in this new land. The video features some villains that are very prominent in the videos and others that barely make an appearance. The villains that we see are the Evil Queen from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Chernabog from Fantasia, Lady Tremaine from Cinderella, Queen of Hearts, Alice in Wonderland, Captain Hook from Peter Pan, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, Madame Mim from The Sword in the Stone throwback, Kaa from Jungle Book, the Horned King from The Black Cauldron, Ursula the Little Mermaid, Gaston Beauty and the Beast, Jafar from Aladdin, Scar from The Lion King, Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove, Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog, Mother Gothel from Tangled, King Magnifico from Wish, and Hades from the Hercules film. So this video has been our best guess at understanding what villains they are going to bring to Disney Villains Land. Now, some of them are featured more prominently than others, and so you can expect some of those to be more prominent or less prominent, or potentially even not even part of Villains Land at all when it first launches, because they're only in this video a tiny bit. We really just don't know. Now, we also have the Villains Unhappily Ever After stage show, which is featured at Disney's Hollywood Studios in the old Lightning McQueen show building right next to Rock and Roller Coaster. The prominent villains in that stage show are the Magic Mirror, Cruella de Vil, Captain Hook, and Maleficent. And we've been theorizing that these particular characters, that Disney is testing them to kind of see their popularity and how well that sort of resonates with audiences. So these very well could be the most prominent or marquee villains that we're going to see in Disney Villains Land moving forward. However, we now have a brand new video that could give us some clues that Hades himself from Hercules, and even potentially some of the other characters from Hercules, could also feature prominently in Disney Villains Land. And I, for one, would be super excited if this is the case, because Hades is just such an awesome villain. The Hercules film, I feel like, doesn't get as much love as it should. It is such a great film. And where there are villains, there usually are heroes and other characters from the films. So it's very likely that if Hades does show up in Villains Land, we may also see some of the other characters or even heroes making an appearance in some way, shape, or form. Now, before we get to that brand new video, let's review the layout of Villains Land and where Hades could potentially show up. We have lots of permit details for the brand new Villains Land, and new permits are being filed every day. This first permit shows the large area, the large scope, where they basically did a survey that shows all this different land and water tables and understanding the storm drainage systems to make sure that when they're moving land and they're preparing for the new Cars expansion and the Villains Land, that they're not gonna negatively affect the sort of drainage systems and the wildlife in the area. The red area shown on this map is all of Magic Kingdom and the expanded area. The orange lines show us the limits of the construction that they're anticipating on doing with both Cars and the Villains Land long term and any other sort of construction that they may need for these properties. The yellow area is a gravel laydown yard used for construction purposes. The blue lines here are the total study area that was conducted for all of the things they're thinking about doing in that space. And you can see it is massive, and that is because they have to think about the ecological, the wildlife, and water ramifications all throughout this area, not just the sections where they're building. But it could also mean that they have plans in the future to use some of this land additionally for some other expansion. Now that massive amount of space there is about 700 acres. If they were to use all of that, that's 700 acres, just to give you an equivalency. Magic Kingdom itself in that sort of red area, just the Magic Kingdom portion is only about 107 acres. All of the space for Epic Universe, the hotels, including Epic Universe itself, and all the back of the house area is also only about 700 acres. So that survey area was massive. So let's zoom in here now to the area we're talking about for Villains Land. We got the red area there. Again, that's the Stormwater Basin area for Magic Kingdom. Orange lines, limits of construction. The blue area there is the Cars expansion, the sort of Piston Peak land that they're building there, replacing Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America. And the purple area is essentially the Villains Land that we are expecting. Now, we don't know for sure if this mapping is going to be one-to-one or if they're going to use slightly different sections, but this is our speculation so far as to where it's going to go based on what we've seen and based on the permits. In the purple area, you will see I have speculated a phase 1, a phase 2, a potential Villains Hotel, and the green area there, again, total speculation, could potentially be some sort of fantasy hotel. Now, let me just be clear. The hotels, we have absolutely no idea. That would probably be much further in the future. They may never do hotels in that space. That is just me speculating on what they could do with all of that area that they surveyed. It would be something that I think is really awesome. I mean, that place would be amazing. Can you imagine your own private entrance into Villains Land from a Villains Hotel? That would be awesome. Overall, the actual Villains Land area is about 14 acres. This is about the size of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So a pretty good footprint, not massive in scale, but also not small. All right, so where could Hades go in this land? How is it broken out? Let's break down the different attractions and things that are going to be in Villains Land really quickly. If we look at the concept art, this gives us our first clues. Over there on the center right portion, you have some sort of town, some sort of shopping and entertainment going on there. The top center area, definitely some sort of Maleficent's castle with Maleficent, the giant dragon, all that stuff. Very clear that that's what's going to be happening. Top left is clearly going to be some sort of Maleficent-driven or iconic coaster of some kind. This could be a roller coaster that features lots of different villains in it. But it does, based on its position, the way it looks like it is going to tie directly into Maleficent as maybe the main sort of icon villain for the attraction, with maybe some supporting villains that are part of it. So this is where Hades could potentially show up in either a pre-show concept or not, whatnot. We'll talk about that in just a second. If you look at the bottom center area of that concept art, it looks kind of like it goes underground or under some sort of feature. I'm not really sure how they're going to pull that off. We can't really tell if it goes underground, but this coaster could be an extension of the Maleficent coaster, or it could be a second coaster of some kind. We know there are going to be two primary attractions in Disney Villains Land. That has been essentially confirmed in the announcement. They said there will be two main attractions. So getting two coasters there is possible, but I don't think it's probable. It's more likely that this is going to be a different section of the roller coaster, which could be potentially themed differently. Underground, Hades, maybe underwater, Ursula, but again, just going to show that the coaster itself could be drifting and going through different villain layers as part of this attraction. On the left, we have some like interactive play pads, it looks like, for kids. Over on the right, again, shops, restaurants, etc. will be there. And then there in the center, sort of back towards the right on the map, this is where I essentially have a dark ride experience. I highly doubt that the two attractions that they have in Villains Land will both be roller coasters. Even though the track style and the cars themselves look different, like they're almost two different roller coasters, I think it's one roller coaster, or we're going to be getting three attractions there, and they're just hiding it. But if we only get 2 attractions, I think it's going to be the roller coaster, which maybe goes through different portions, and then I think there will be some sort of dark ride experience. Disney is really smart about adding dark ride, family-friendly attractions and not going too crazy on hardcore roller coasters. I think if they had 2 hardcore roller coasters in that land and no dark ride or no family-friendly attraction, that would be a massive error, and I just don't see Disney making that mistake. So this dark ride absolutely could be where Hades shows up. Could be a prominent fixture or could just be a supporting cast. So now let's talk about the new video. This was an episode of We Call It Imagineering, a very recent episode just dropped. They walk us through a lot of inventions, a lot of innovation, things that they are doing around animatronics, audio animatronics, AI, technology, and this is a really great episode. In this episode, they showcased things like the front-facing projection mapping technology for facial expressions, for animatronics, and it looks quite interesting, although it is kind of going away from some of the other audio animatronic things that we've been talking about with regards to Disney, where they are looking at using a blend of facial movements. This is what Universal's also trying to do, using a blend of larger mechanic facial expressions. So you think of like the mouth opening and closing, eyelids, or things, larger facial expressions being mechanical in nature, and very subtle like movements like wrinkle lines or even like facial expressions in your cheeks and your eyebrows and things being more projection mapped. So it's sort of a combination between the mechanical and the projection map technology, which is going to give it the most realistic feel. In this video, they were showing us pretty much an almost exclusively front-facing projection mapped audio animatronic with not a lot of like larger mechanical things built in. It doesn't mean they're not working on that. It's just what we saw was mostly a new upgraded version of the front-facing projection mapping. They're already using similar technologies in place. Universal is using these technologies, so we'll see where it goes. Now, what's interesting here about this video is during the announcement for the video and all of the content that went around it explaining the video, on the official Disney Parks blog for this video, they call out this audio animatronic technology and specifically refer to 3 places that this technology makes sense and most likely is going to show up. This is the key. I'm sure there are tons of places that they could use this, but they called out 3 very specific ones, and I think that has meaning behind it. The first one they called out was for Mike Wazowski. They said this technology could be used to bring Mike Wazowski to life. Why Mike Wazowski? Well, we're doing an entire new Monsters, Inc. land, Monsters, Inc. roller coaster. We've all been expecting Mike Wazowski to make a recurrence here because Billy Crystal was part of the announcement, so we knew Mike Wazowski was most likely going to be coming to life, hopefully alongside the other characters as well, but Mike Wazowski specifically. And they called out Mike Wazowski as being a potential use for this technology. I would say more than a potential use, I would say it's a planned use at this point. The second character that they called out was Lightning McQueen. Hello, Piston Peak, the brand new Cars expansion area at Magic Kingdom. We know Lightning McQueen is going to be part of that. So the fact that they're calling out this particular technology being used potentially for Lightning McQueen once again tells me that this is more than just a maybe we could use it. This is a we're using this to bring Lightning McQueen to life for Piston Peak. And then there was the third one they mentioned, and that was Hades. Hades, the character, you think about his character, his profile, the way he looks. I mean, he would be perfect for this technology, especially considering the fact that he can basically light things on fire, he can change color, he can do all sorts of things. You think about like his hair being on fire, all these things that you could potentially bring to life with this particular technology. Why did they mention Hades? They could have mentioned any character, but they mentioned Hades specifically. As far as I'm aware, there are no current plans for anything else anywhere in Disney that has Hades as part of the attraction. The only place that it makes sense is in Disney Villains Land. So I think that this was, I don't know if it was a slip of the tongue or an intentional revealing that they called out Hades specifically. I think it means that Hades is going to feature, and they're trying to figure out actively right now how to bring Hades to life for Villains Land. And not just as sort of a throwaway character that's sitting on the side animatronic. This is going to be a featured character, if you're thinking about bringing this level of technology to the forefront for Hades, it is going to be for a reason. He is going to be somewhat more of a prominent figure in whatever they're thinking about using it for. So whether it's for an area of the coaster, this sort of underground Hades area, or some sort of element in the dark ride, I think Hades will feature prominently. One of the things everyone asks is, how are they going to make all these villains come together and make sense? There was an idea that they pitched a while ago. They talked about how all the villains got together around a table and essentially were plotting for how are they going to destroy the heroes, because they're tired of losing, they're tired of being separate entities and doing their own thing and not working together, and so they finally all come together and plot how to destroy the heroes. And as part of this attraction idea, we essentially stumble into their planning session, and then you can imagine all heck breaks loose, and the villains are like, what the heck? And they're chasing you. Kind of like the Spider-Man attraction over at Islands of Adventure. You think about how you come around the corner, and all the villains are plotting, and we stumble across it, and they're like, what was that? And then the chase is on. I'm assuming something similar for Disney Villains Land, so you can see Hades being one of these figures in that show or in that sort of idea. I don't know for sure if they're going to go forward with that or they've dumped it. Who knows? But that is one potential way they could bring all these villains together. So overall, that's what I've got. I don't know. What do you think? Was it slip of the tongue? Do you think it was intentional? Do you think it was just a coincidence? Like, yeah, they said Hades, but that doesn't mean anything. They're not going to use it. I mean, I just think that's what it means. I mean, Mike Wazowski, yes, definitely using that. Lightning McQueen, they're using that. That's clear. Hades, why throw Hades out? You could have thrown anybody out. Why throw Hades out? I just think it means something. So I'd love to hear what you think. Are you excited about Villains Land? Are you excited about the potential of seeing a cool Hades animatronic and maybe even some other Hercules villains that are part of that? That would be cool. I love those mountain monster creatures and everything that they had in there. The Titans and all that. I mean, that would be so cool to see. Love to hear what you think. Be sure to comment below. Let me know. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. Till I see you next time. Noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.